Victoria Park. Respect at $2.70, a very smart and promising stayer from the Guy Walter yard, who very soon will be sending Republic Lass around here in Melbourne. Let's head trackside to Randwick for their feature race, the 6th.
So just repeating, Respect, the clear-cut favourite here, 270, 170. Best back to beat him, the Toowoomba trained Prince Hal, number 4, at 8.10 and 2.30, and is much better on Tab Limited than it is in operations on track. Prince Hal has met with quite good support. But Respect will run the solid favourite, and he's looking for his 4th successive win, and in fact 5 from his past 6 starts. Hugh Bowman riding. Previous of the day, 2 Provokes. Alan Robinson defeated 3 Quest for Success, 6 Presenter and 1 Bridal Hill. Quite a group gathered over near the starting point here at the 2,400 metres to watch the horses jump away. On a warm day in Sydney, and here's the starter coming along towards his dispatch point. Monmiki stands well. Time off the outside of the liner here. 14 running, and they'll soon be off. Waiting on Star of the Seas. Racing this time, Star of the Seas was last out. Other than that, a very good jump and spillway, and our Archie's Girl, the stablemates, are disputing the lead. From Feed the Meter, Halls of Assembly, Manzeal and Silent Impact, and then Time Off. A length and a half further away, Prince Hal, followed by Respect, a horse off the rails. A length into Barrowin, 2 lengths Gillespie, the Bank, the Despised Ruffy on the inside. Star of the Seas, who didn't jump well, is second last, and Absolute is Monmiki. Working their way out of the straight and along to the 1,900 metres, and Halls of Assembly to the lead now from Feed the Meter. Spillway's running 3rd, followed by our Archie's Girl, and then Manzeal, Silent Impact, Time Off, followed by Prince Hal, 2.5 Respect. A little worse than midfield now around Barrowin, and then Gillespie, the Bank, Star of the Season, 2 lengths to Monmiki. They're really stringing out now as they work to the back of the course and leave the 1,600 pole behind them, and Halls of Assembly lopes along in the lead by a little more than a length on Feed the Meter, with Spillway 3rd. Manzeal pulling its way up and around our Archie's Girl from Silent Impact, Prince Hal, Time Off. A length and a half then to Barrowin on the inside of Respect, and to Gillespie, the Bank, and then Star of the Seas, and last of all in the field is Monmiki. They race down to the halfway marker in the City Tats Club Cup, and Halls of Assembly a half length on Bernie Cooper's ride, Feed the Meter. Manzeal wide out 3rd, Spillway in the middle. Our Archie's Girl is on the rails. A length further back is Silent Impact, followed by the well-tried Prince Hal. 2 lengths to Time Off, Barrowin, followed by Respect, who's got 4 behind him. And they are Gillespie, the Bank, Star of the Seas and Monmiki. On the side of the track they run, down past the 850, Feed the Meter. Serving it up to Halls of Assembly, 1 to Manzeal wide, Spillway still in the centre. Our Archie's Girl is hugging the rails over Silent Impact, Prince Hal. Now Bowman's whizzing around the outside on Respect as they come down to approach the corner. And action aplenty here, Halls of Assembly narrowly in front of Feed the Meter. A length the Manzeal, Spillway, followed by Silent Impact, our Archie's Girl, Barrowin, and Respect is next, taken about 8 or 9 wide. Straightening up now on the cup, and Feed the Meter got to the front, but Respect claimed it very quickly. On the outside, Gillespie's trying to match Respect. A length of Time Off, Silent Impact, Feed the Meter. Barrowin fights back on the rails, but Respect is just in front. Barrowin is kicking back. Respect and neck. Barrowin clear of Gillespie. Barrowin coming again at Respect. Barrowin, I reckon, a nostril Respect, and Gillespie followed by Prince Hal in company with Time Off. Further away in the field then was Silent Impact, Monmiki, Feed the Meter. Another length off then came Manzeal, Star of the Seas, and then a long gap, our Archie's Girl with Spillway, Halls of Assembly and the Bank. Well, Barrowin on the inside, and Respect had it to themselves over the last little bit. He wouldn't give in, Respect, but Barrowin on the inside looks to have just been able to nose him. Robbie Brewer for Bobby Thompson, a Barathea mare out of Portview.
Well, plenty thought Respect was going to hold on to that photo, but Barrowin with a tenacious finish after Respect covered a lot of ground turning for home. Now, Richard, you might take us through what's happening at the moment in the stewards' room here on course.
In the stewards' room, Chairman of Stewards Des Gleeson is giving the jockeys a bit of a pre-race tune-up. He's telling them what he expects them to do how he expects them to behave. He doesn't want to see any rough riding. He doesn't want to see any dangerous play out there. And I tell you what he'll be saying out, he's not going to stand for anything, and there'll be big penalties if they play up.
Okay, so fair and hard riding.
Fair and hard riding, that's what he wants to see, but particularly fair, because in a big field there's always the potential for disaster. And the jockeys are aware of that, and the stewards are making sure that every one of them is well aware of it.
Okay, well aware of the form in this upcoming race in Brisbane. Larry Olsen. Larry, on paper this race is
Going to lead. Who's going to be inside them? Who's going to be outside them? This will be going through their head, and when the gates open, the plans can go straight out the window.
young Michael Rod had a baptism of fire here last week. Today, a prized ride.
If he thought it was tough last week, a Caulfield Cup would be one of the toughest races to ride in, and he is being thrown in at the deep end. Look, he's a good young bloke. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He won't be overawed by the situation, but he might cop a few traps for young players out there, shall we say.
OK, well, before the jockeys get introduced to the crowd a little earlier, Alf Matthews with the rider of Prize Gem.
Michael, youngest rider in the race today, the Caulfield Cup. Prize Gem, what did you make of its performance in the Yalumba?
Very good run. You know, the pressure was on from word go with Sunline. She's an amazing horse, and she sustained it the whole way, just got done on the line. My mare can't do that. She was sort of off the bit majority of the race, and then had to chase from the half mile. So, you know, her run was very good. She ran the second fastest sectionals to long row, so it's, you know, there's plenty of credit there. So, you know, she's sort of certainly in this with a good show.
Handicap conditions obviously suit better. What are you going to do from your awkward gate?
Yeah, that's right. She's drawn the outside. I'm going to, you know, she's going to jump with them. I'm not going to snag her back straight away. I'm just going to see how they pan out. Hopefully, like this race, I've been watching the videos of last week of previous Caulfield Cups. There's always plenty of pressure to the first turn, so hopefully I might string out a bit and I can slot in sort of in front of a couple and jump on the tail of something like Universal Prince or Pentastic coming the half mile.
Yeah, that would be the ideal scenario, wouldn't it? Michael, you also picked up the ride on Just Divine. Now, it's got a little bit of form in Melbourne.
Yes, she does. That's right. She's a very well-travelled mare. George Osborne does a great job with her, and she's not, you know, not in this without her hopes. She's drawn the middle of the line. It doesn't matter. It's 1,100 metres, and I think towards the end of the day, the inside might just be chopping up that little bit. So, I mean, she's in with a big hope she gets back and runs on.
Michael, I know you haven't ridden a winner down here at this carnival yet, but you never know, it might just be the big one.
Yeah, today might be my day.
Good luck.
Cheers.
There he is, Michael Rudd with a couple of nice rides. Prize Gem, let's hope it can do it for him.
OK, Alf, the jockey's now being introduced. We've just heard the cheer for Damien Oliver. If he wins a 5th Caulfield Cup, it's a very, very rare and select club.
He's a crowd favourite. He was introduced as the King of Caulfield, and they gave him a cheer like he was the king. Tell you what, he knows how to ride the winner of this race. His timing in this race is impeccable. Has been on 4 occasions. Will it be on 5?
Now, Brian York comes aboard the George Hanlon trained Rain Gauge. Hasn't he got a job?
Well, George's horses usually peak on just the right day. He's a wily old coot, George Hanlon. I tell you what, don't look at the form of the horse leading into the big race. Just look at how the horse looks in the mounting yard at the time of the big race.
The most famous set of colours in the entire world, those of the Godolphin team.
Yes, he's having a big responsibility here, Kieran McAvoy. Beekeeper, his mount. If he's up to his European form, he'll win this. And it's a big step up for Kieran McAvoy to ride for the Godolphin team.
OK, and there's the jockey who won last year's Caulfield Melbourne Cup double, Scott Seamer. We've got to go to Eagle Farm, though. We'll have more on the Caulfield Cup in just a moment.
Sports class to come up, trying to keep his unbeaten.
Into the mounting yard is the current on-course favourite, Northerly, for the Caulfield Cup. Before we take you through the runners, let's check out some dividends. First of all, correct weight dividends at Randwick. Robbie Brewer for Barrowin and Bobby Thompson combining to win. At Eagle Farm was Brent Alboino for Gerald Ryan, with Dancing Hill beating Wajo and Sheer Devotion. Time will be very, very interesting. On course, there's been a sustained move at longer odds for Universal Prince. Outside of that, there has been no other firmers at this stage. Republic Lass unchanged and is good value on Super Tab on the tote. Let's take you through them. Alf Matthews joins us. The expectation will be realised in 10 minutes from now. Alf, Northerly, 1.5 miles. Is that the trick or is it the weight?
I don't think anything is the problem. Weight won't worry him, and I don't believe the distance will worry him. I tell you what, this guy really knows how to train. This continues to look better every time.
Okay, number 2 is Universal Prince. Very, very smart galloper who's been solidly tried in, 4 points on course.
Only had the 2 runs, but I'm interested to see how he will go in terms of his preparation. Looks absolutely fantastic, and at least he'll have that dash in his legs rather than being trained for a mile and a half. He can naturally get it.
Looks very well in the coat. Number 3 is Sandmason, the outsider.
Well, he's got the blinkers on, and just noticing the way he's walking, he looks as if the blinkers may have that little bit of an effect to spark him up a little bit and race forward. He looks beautiful.
He looks good in the coat, doesn't he? Helene Vitality, the international performer, formerly known as Hades when he won a New Zealand Derby.
Yes, obviously got the class for a race like this. He's been competitive at Group 1 level over the 2400 on numerous occasions. And again, I will say he looks better today than he did last start.
Number 5, Fields of Omar.
Fields of Omar, interesting. Looks good. You can't fault any of these horses the way they've been presented today. I think he looks fantastic. But the run in the Turnbull, I don't think he can finish in front of a horse like Fantastic, given the same sort of run, because I thought he had every possible chance and ridden beautifully. No one agreed with me.
Now, Freemason's drawn to run a very cheeky race at big odds.
And he's tough and dour. If he can get into a nice position without getting any interference at all, he could run a sneaky race.
Now, Rain Gauge is a horse which is being kept safe in betting on course. It has eased a little.
Look, again, he'll peak today. I just doubt. I just believe he's had his opportunities.
Okay, we go round to number 9, which is Beekeeper, which has security walking alongside, a security guard.
Yeah, a little bit unusual, but I've been keen to look at this horse, and he really is something spectacular. A lovely looking individual, and it doesn't look as if the occasion has overawed him.
Okay, one of the Godolphin handlers walking on his offside, security guard on his inside. Flashy style as he walks down past our commentary position.
And that head, isn't it a classic head?
It sure is. Looks particularly well in the coat. Not a big horse by any means. Carpstad Way, favourite here last year.
You know, and I tell you what, this could fall into the same category as Freemason. Favourite last year. Today, no one wants to know anything about him. And one thing he's going to get, a good firm track that he does respond to well.
Dash for Cash has got a bandage on his offside hind leg where he was cut swimming during the week.
Yes, I don't think it's going to worry him at all. It's just on the pastern there. Look, he looks fantastic, and he's been trained for this race, and nobody knew it.
Fantastic.
Well, fantastic. He looks adorable in the yard. Absolutely glistening, number 13 there. Very alert. He'll run well. Very keen. I'm a bit of a query on his barrier draw, but if the speed's good, he's suited.
Now, if you like the chances of Prize Gem, the tote odds are almost double what it is on course.
And this horse has tightened up a little bit after his run the other day. He looks very well. It's going to be hard to sort this race out.
How about Guy Walters, AJC Oaks winning mare, Republic Lass, one of the fancied runners on course?
Well, I liked her run last week in the Yalumba. Her last sectional over the concluding stage of the 400 was the second quickest on the day. The quick backup will suit and looks as pretty as a picture.
Okay, Distinctly Secret, Stephen King's ride.
Yeah, can't fault it. Cheeky rough chance.
Okay, from there, the Second Mortgage.
I believe he beat the second graders last start after being beautifully ridden. I don't think he's a chance.
Tully Thunder finished last 20 lengths behind Lonhro, but she was in season last week.
And she is a winner of the Australasian Oaks. She ran second over the 2450 of the South Australian Oaks, and I do believe she should have won. She'll run the trip right out and drawn very well to run well.
Now, the very smart New Zealand performer, Hale.
Yeah, I hadn't seen Hale previously, but he's quite a nice horse. Very strong. Wouldn't surprise me if he runs a bit of a race, and has drawn awkwardly and was forced to cover ground last start.
Now, Grey Song finally.
Grey Song, I'm going to leave him out totally. Track's too firm for him, in my opinion.
Okay, on course there's been a couple of good moves. Fantastic with support. Richard, your thoughts in just a moment. Rick Hall-Lacey, let's find out more about Dash for Cash and where he'll be.
Well, Rick, much of the discussion this week has been centred on that little cut on one of his legs. How is it, mate?
Well, I wish I hadn't mentioned it to the young journalist. That's all he wanted to talk about. No, the horse is fine, Andrew, and we're hopeful.
Hasn't missed any work. That should also be emphasised.
Yes, he certainly hasn't missed any work.
Okay, today, tactics hold the key. Jim's on the horse now, mate. Can you tell us what you would like him to do?
It was one of two things. He either went straight to the front and give the horse a kick and go straight to the front, risking the horse over racing from that point. So he's going to try and take him forward easily and quietly to try and help him run the 1.5 miles and just hope he can slot in somewhere. And that's Jimmy's idea, and I think it's probably the best one. And I mean, we're paying him to do the job, so I think we'll leave it to him.
Well, he's won it a couple of times, hasn't he? He knows what he's doing out there. He knows the pace early on. It seems to be the key, just the run here to the first turn.
Yes, well, he'll be up there somewhere, Andrew, and as you've said, Jimmy's a wonderful big race rider.
And are you happy with the horse going in? Everything's gone to plan the last couple of weeks, bar that little accident.
Well, yes, bar that little accident. We've had to take him down the beach and keep a careful watch on it and give him some antibiotics and things like that. It's been a little problem, but we've got him here, and I don't think it will affect his performance today.
Good luck, Rick.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, mate. Rick Hall-Lacey, pretty honest about what the plan may be, Brendan, with Dash for Cash.
Okay, late mail numbers here. So we've reported plenty of betting moves: 9, 15, 1, 13. And if technically we can fit a 2 in there, Alf Matthews would like to include it. It's, Richard, your brief thoughts first?
I thought Northerly looked okay. Universal Prince had a beautiful glossy coat today. Looked very well. Sand Mason looked very well in the yard too, and he hasn't been racing all that well, but he looked great. Freemason had a lovely shine on his coat as well, so if you've backed him or had him in a trifecta, he'll be there. Rain Gauge, the number 8, he looked great in the yard. George Hanlon's got him primed to the minute. Now, Beekeeper, very European-looking horse, plenty of leg. He was quite relaxed, just starting to break out in a little bit of a sweat with the crowd, but he looked fit, he looked well. Dash for Cash looked okay. Fantastic looked very well. So he'll no doubt run well. And I thought down the bottom of the weights, probably Distinctly Secret looked the best of the bottom-weighted horses.
Okay, time for some late mail now.
Well, I'm going to put in number 9, Beekeeper. It's been a long time since I've seen a horse look as good and present as well as him today. You know he's going to be up there. He's got the class, Richard's been telling us, and look, I agree with him, and he looks fantastic. The occasion hasn't fussed him at all. Number 15, Republic Lass, it'll get the good run from barrier 1, perfectly suited. Northerly, he looks great. Whether the weight's too much, I don't think it is. He'll be right there. Number 13, Pentastic, looks great. And number 2, I like the preparation for Universal Prince. It's going to be a great race. 9 ahead of 15, 1, 13, and I've thrown in 2.
A myriad of betting moves. Andrew Bensley, will it be this man Guy Walter again in the Group 1 circle?
Well, Guy, we're just talking about how Republic Lass has progressed out of last week, and she looks a lot shinier in the coat. She's eaten up this week. You seem to be a lot more happier.
Yeah, I am, Andrew. Notwithstanding, it's a really tough race, but she's had a good week, and she had a nice preparation. She's had 4 runs, and she's well drawn, and got a top rider. So I think that every chance she can run well with a bit of luck.
Any positives from last week, because there seemed to be just a query on the horses that did finish behind Lonhro and Sunline.
Yes, I suppose at face value we'd like to have seen her run a little closer, but Glenn was very, very happy with her, and you know, she has run 4th to Sunline and Lonhro. Pretty good form.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, Guy. Good luck. Guy Walter.
Okay, Andrew, we're cutting down to the Caulfield Cup. The song for Caulfield being played in full volume as we take this break.
Not
Inspirational stuff as we count down to a Caulfield Cup. Will this man make history? Fred Kersley's Northerly. Greg Childs is unbeaten on this superstar.
Northerly there just parading down behind the barriers. Horses warming up now, just stretching out their legs, just trying to get that blood pumping before they eventually go into the gates. The jockeys will keep them on the move. They want to keep them warm. They don't want these horses cooling down. It'll take quite a long time to get them in the gates, and they certainly don't want them getting cold.
On course, good support, Dash for Cash. It's been backed in a full point. Northerly, the punters have had a little play, and it's again firmed back in. Same applies for Fields of Omar, and Pentastic is one of the best tried runners. But at longer odds, it's clearly Universal Prince in a full 4 points.
No money in the ring at the moment for Beekeeper. That surprises me. I thought there'd be European money coming for him, but at the moment he's just a fraction longer in the ring than he is on the tote. but no real money. Fantastic, very solid in the betting. So's Republic Lass.
Okay, clear cut. On course, it's Northerly from Fields of Omar. And this move for Universal Prince has continued. There's come in another full point and offers lovely value on the tote. So we've just heard Courage in Your Eyes, and we're about to witness it in equine terms on the track. The runners are about to be called forward for the Carlton Draft Caulfield Cup. The field, the crowd, everyone, anticipation in the air as we just click past start time.
One of the great things you'll ever see in racing is when the crowd roars as the gates open at the top of the straight, and 20 horses across the track thunder in the one direction. It's like the charge of the Light Brigade. Always look forward to it every year.
Electrifying stuff as we head up to the broadcast box.
They're moving in. Fields of Omar was the first to go into the stalls for Damien Oliver, who's searching for a 5th win, a win that would equal the great Scobie Breesley, who won his last Caulfield Cup 50 years ago. Republic Lass has taken the inside gate. This stage, Glenn Boss keeping out of the saddle. Tally Thunder is set with Rain Gauge and Freemason, who lines up for his 3rd Caulfield Cup start. The Second Mortgage made it into the field. Craig Williams on board. It's locked away in 5, and there's Universal Prince going into the stalls now. Fantastic, who's run so well in all the staying 3-year-old classics, taking the next step, whilst a lot of his fellow 3-year-olds have fallen by the wayside. There's Helene Vitality going into the stalls now. Dwayne Dunn, who's flown in specifically for the ride, as is Craig Williams for the Second Mortgage from Hong Kong. The Godolphin representative, Beekeeper, outstanding in the yard. Thrown into the cauldron of a Group 1 race down under for Godolphin. There's Carpstead Way, another that is lining up for his 3rd attempt in this race. It was a brave second to Diatribe a couple of years ago. Sand Mason is set, Dash for Cash. Out to the long trip today. Here's Distinctly Secret going in now. Caulfield Cup field taking shape. Sand Mason getting quite agitated in the stalls here. He's thrashing about. The rider is about to escape what could be a dangerous situation. He's out of the saddle now. And Sand Mason is going berserk, and he's got Dash for Cash very stirred up alongside him. They've got to take him out of the gates here, or he's just going reckless in the gates. Hale is standing up alongside him like nothing's happening. Now Hale has been backed out of the gates, and Sand Mason no doubt will be back out of the gates also. In the interim, Northerly has an advantage of walking around behind the gates, and so does Prize Gem and Graysong. Now Sand Mason is out of the line eventually. He's backed out of the gates here. So drama at the start, and the pressure now is squarely on the shoulders of the vets. Will they run him? Let's see if he does happen to be withdrawn. The sub is Northerly. Stephen Arnold about to get back on board. Steve Arnold leg back on Sand Mason, and the vets inspecting him. Graysong and Northerly kept out behind the line alongside Prize Gem. Hale is ready, and Dash for Cash is okay. Now the West Australian Fighting Tiger goes up. Northerly is ready as Sand Mason continues a vet's inspection behind the line. In the meantime, the other runners are standing in beautifully. Prize Gem having joined them in the gates, and so too Graysong. Beekeeper, so lightly raced and experienced, just stands up like an old toff in gate 6. Sand Mason is 100-to-1 shot. He got knocked over at a vital stage in the Metropolitan, but the pressure now is whether he'll be running or not. The vet's having a good look at him. If it was a maiden at Pakenham, you'd probably say he would have been scratched, but it's not so much as at stake here. There's been support for Fields of Omar now. He's a clear second pick behind Northerly on track, 1 ahead of 5. Dash for Cash, the third pick. Such a long delay. The butterflies must be enormous for the jockeys. Imagine just sitting on the blocks in a 100 metres final for such a long time. He's coming out, this horse. Stand by. Hello, yes. 4:11 Vet's Advice. Thank you. Sand Mason is a late scratching, taken out at 4:11 on Vet's Advice. The substitute is Northerly. Sand Mason, the late scratching, taken out at 4:11 on Vet's Advice. Betting announcement to follow the running of the race. He was 100 to 1 shot. So now they stand up for the Carlton Draft Caulfield Cup. Starter heading over to the platform now. One of the great races of the Australian turf about to go. They're set. Racing. Northerly jumped well from a middle gate. So did the Second Mortgage and Freemason. Tally Thunder ridden up in the early stages. As they settle down, Fields of Omar's going forward outside Northerly. And handy on the outside too is Dash for Cash, so it's a great charge. Down past the judge, Dash for Cash outside Northerly. Tally Thunder showing speed. The three of them leading, turning out of the straight. Childs grabbed hold of Northerly and he's settled third now. The Second Mortgage, fourth the inside. Fields of Omar getting a beautiful trail right behind Northerly. Republic Lass on the rails. A length and a half further back is Freemason over on the outside of Distinctly Secret. Helene Vitality's off and running 3 deep around Rain Gauge and then Beekeeper. About a length further back is Hale out 3 wide around Pentastic, Universal Prince and then Prize Gem, Grey Song and Carpstead Way is last of all. Tally Thunder a surprise leader out by a length and a half. Northerly is second. Dash for Cash is now third on the inside. About a half a length away then on the outside is Helene Vitality. A length and a half the Second Mortgage. 1 Republic Lass and then a length and a half Fields of Omar. He's being followed by Distinctly Secret. 1.5 to Beekeeper, Freemason together. 2 Universal Prince, Rain Gauge, 2 to Hale, who's still out 3 wide from Pentastic and Grey Song, and then a length and a half to Prize Gem and Carpstead Way. Tally Thunder nears the 1,000 by 3. Northerly second. Dash for Cash third. Helene Vitality is in fourth placing. 2 lengths then to the Second Mortgage, Republic Lass. Freemason going forward as the pace has gone right out of the cup. Then Hale and they're followed then by Distinctly Secret. Fields of Omar. They're packing up now. Next is Pentastic taking off with Carpstead Way. Beekeeper held up near the inside. 2 lengths to Rain Gauge and then Universal Prince followed by Prize Gem, and ahead of it is Grey Song. Tally Thunder about to be joined at the 600 by Northerly, and Freemason's gone up third. A length and a half further back is Dash for Cash, the Second Mortgage running on. Then Helene Vitality. Here comes Fields of Omar from Hale and Republic Lass. Northerly has taken the lead coming around the turn. Freemason is with him. Wider out the Second Mortgage and Fields of Omar, and further back is Helene Vitality. Northerly down to the 200. Childs pulled the whip. He's the leader from Freemason. Fields of Omar's coming down the outside, and then came Republic Lass. Northerly in front with 100 metres to go. Fields of Omar, Republic Lass are closing. Northerly in front.